Welcome to Illuminating Catholics, podcast of the Diocese of Sioux City. I'm Dawn Prosser, Director of Communications for the Diocese. Together with Carmen Bauer of the Faith Formation Office, we will shed light upon topics of faith in the modern church. Our guests include Catholic clergy, religious sisters, and other experts in their fields to help us understand what's happening in the church today. We will explore issues, even the tough ones, and to find answers to common questions about Catholicism. Thank you for joining us for today's Illuminating Catholics, shedding light to understand the modern church.
Welcome back to the Illuminating Catholics podcast. I am Carmen Bauer, and I am the Director of Faith Formation for the Diocese of Sioux City.
And I am Dawn Prosser. I'm Director of Communications for the Diocese.
So today we have a neighbor from the east side of the state joining us. Our guest is Brandon Marsh. He is the Executive Director of the John Paul II Medical Research Institute based in Coralville, Iowa. The institute is guided by Catholic moral teachings in serving the sanctity of all human life. We are excited to learn more. So welcome, Brandon.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And it's always nice to join our stately neighbors.
Well, we're excited that it worked out that we could all be in the same electronic space together anyway. So for any of us listening, and I think maybe Carmen and I would fit in this role, we're not experts on the Institute. Wondering if you could share with us a brief overview of missions and mission and goals of the Institute, and then we'll ask you for more details as we go along.
Sure. So the John Paul II Medical Research Institute or Medical Research Foundation, either way, they kind of go hand in hand. It's a pro-life nonprofit that we founded back in 2006. We specialized in using adult stem cells to find cures for incurable diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, diseases along those lines. However, the caveat with that is we believe that all research should uphold the dignity of all human life. So we try to keep any research organizations that we support, they have to show that they have a strong Catholic ethic and follow those moral teachings that they're preserving the sanctity of all human life.
Okay. And we saw on the website your founder, Dr. Alan Moy. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe it would be helpful to know a little bit about him and what drove him to help establish the Institute.
Sure. So Dr. Moy, he actually passed away in 2024. However, he was this incredible scientist. So he attended Christian Brothers High School, where he first started learning about medicine and research. Actually, he won the Westinghouse Science Talent Search, received his BS in biochemistry at the University of California at Davis, and then his MD from Creighton University. So him and Jeannie is actually still very, very active with the organization. They were married in Omaha and moved to St. Louis, where Alan did his internal medicine residency. And then after his fellowship, he actually moved to the University of Iowa, where he did a subspecialty training in pulmonary and critical care. And after that, he stayed on at Iowa and was on their faculty until 2005. And he was tenured in the Department of Medicine and the Department of Biomedical Engineering. So in 2005, he left that faculty position and started an organization called Cellular Engineering Technologies, which is the abbreviation CET. It's a pro-life biotech company that's actually based right here in Coralville as well. And around that same time, he started our institute, which is, like I said, the nonprofit side of it that's devoted to using what they created was, instead of using stem cells from the infants, they actually found a way to create adult stem cells in the lab and use those stem cells to treat, orphan disease, degenerative neurological diseases, regenerative medicines, and also try and fight cancer. So
that's how it came to be.
That's how it came to be.
Thanks for sharing that history with us. Do you also want to explain, because I thought it was interesting, why John Paul II, now St. John Paul II, why was he selected as namesake for the Institute?
Well, Dr. Moy had an absolute love for John Paul II and his big fight that he had about keeping science and research preserving that sanctity of life. So one of our founding quotes that we use from John Paul II was, "The service of humanity leads us to insist that in season and out of season, that those using the latest advances of science, especially in the field of biotechnology, must never disregard fundamental ethical requirements by invoking a questionable solidarity, which eventually leads to discriminating between one life and another and ignoring the dignity to which belongs to every human being."
Okay, it's beautiful. Thank you so much.
John Paul II he had a way of affecting so many different areas of, the way that we live our lives, his letter to artists and now, even scientists. It's just amazing. It's always incredible to hear those words from him and how effective of a communicator he was.
Well, and a fun little side note to that is one of my uncles is actually a priest in the Dubuque diocese. Mm-hmm. And he had the chance to say Mass several times with John Paul II. And I have one of his rosaries with his cross that he used to have on his staff at the house. So that was blessed by the Pope directly.
What an incredible thing to have in your possession.
Especially now.
Exactly.
So, if you wouldn't mind, would you be able to share with us, more of what that pro-life research looks like, some of the ethical parameters that scientists ought to keep in mind? Can you just help educate us a little bit on that side of your work?
Yeah, so what CET does, like I said, Dr. Moy founded that, and it's now currently operating under their CEO, Mark Centralia. It was initially established, what it does is it does ethical adult stem cell research by producing ethical reagents for other researchers. And I know that's a whole lot of science talk.
Yes.
But basically what it does is they found ways to grab only ethically derived cells, so basically adult stem cells that people could donate, and that way it wasn't taken by force or taken from a fetus or anything like that. And then they created these reagents that allowed these cells to be used for all sorts of different kinds of research. It's not always the easiest way to do it, and it's not always the cheapest way to do it, but it's the most ethical way to do it. And that was our big push, was making sure that everything was done on that ethical level. And CET now has taken on some of the research that we used to do when Dr. Moy was still alive. And so we've been helping fund that organization since his passing.
And can you speak to just the opportunity that provides the scientists who are actually doing the research for, those who might be faithful Catholics just seeking to live out their faith in every aspect of their life and have that integrity? Do you ever have any conversations with the scientists just for what this opportunity provides for them to be able to be a part of ethical research?
So the nice thing with it is we know in the world that we live in today, living by our true Catholic values can sometimes be extremely difficult with all the technology that's out there, the different doctors and scientists and everything like that are on TV that push a certain way of thinking. By what the stuff that we do, it allows them to wholeheartedly get behind their research in a deeper way. I mean, every scientist, when they're doing research, is obviously their heart is in it. But this fulfills them not only on the actual work side, but on their faith side as well, knowing that these cells were taking, or that they were using, not only came ethically and following our Catholic teaching, where we didn't have to grab cells from an aborted baby. We can get them freely and ethically, and then by doing that, they're following their faith, and they're using it in ways to help others extend or save their lives.
I just think that's such an important, piece of the puzzle, is respecting the dignity of the scientists as well, and being able to provide that space for them. When we talk about their research areas, can you share with us some of those core areas in which they are really focusing their efforts?
Honestly, I have not touched base with them lately to know exactly what direction they're going with it currently. I know there's they did a lot of research in 2020 for COVID research, to try and find a way to create a vaccination for COVID that was done ethically. But obviously, medical research takes time, and they weren't able to get to that level before everything else came out. I know they've also been doing a lot of work with like Parkinson's and ALS.
I'm glad to hear that. I have a couple of family members with Parkinson's. So there's a number of diseases that we're listed on the website and so forth, looking for cures and different specialty areas. And you had talked a lot about how CET is doing some of your research as well. And then also you provide grants for other researchers. And do you want to expound upon that a little bit? Maybe how the grant process works versus the CET funding?
Sure. So basically, like I said, when Dr. Moy passed away, a lot of our research side moved over to CET, just because on staff for John Paul II, we just don't have a lot of scientists. They're not easy to come by. Mm-hmm. But so we shifted focus, and we put a lot more emphasis on our foundation side. Now, the nice thing with our foundation is it allows us to offer the financial funding for these different organizations, and they usually reach out to us. There's a few that we knew about. Our most recent place that we donated, we had heard about before, and we actually reached out to them mm-hmm. to ask them to apply. But one of the other things we do is we like to donate money to help pregnancy centers. Mm-hmm. So places that are helping those mothers that are either they want to keep the baby and the families don't want to support them and they need somewhere to go, or just anything else that they need to help make sure that the baby is kept alive and safe. So the one place that we've donated to is the Providence Pregnancy Center out in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So they opened in 2022, and they've helped over 200 women already. So the beautiful place about these guys is the money that we sent to them, we helped them open their maternity home, mm-hmm. which is called Casa de Maria. It houses up to 4 pregnant women at a time throughout their pregnancy up to 12 months after birth. So it's these women are they counsel women that are like abortion minded or abortion vulnerable, that live in they help them in areas like chastity, healthy relationships, financial literacy, and parenting. And then so they build these relationships with these mothers so they can feel the love and community while they're going through the pregnancy and afterwards.
Is that a relatively new area that you've been investing in, or the organization has been investing in, or has that been going on a long time?
The stuff with the pregnancy centers is fairly new. We discussed it, and we support science, the science behind the pro-life and ethical research, but part of that pro-life we felt needed to be helping these mothers as well. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just so invaluable, knowing that these women are getting the help that they need.
Thank you. I wanted to go back a little bit. Go Hawks. You talked about Dr. Moy's relationship with the University of Iowa and having been on faculty. So it kind of made me wonder, having attended there, not the med school, just the undergrad, did that relationship help generate interest in the work of the Institute? Like, hey, there's some researchers, either they're Catholic or pro-life and Protestant, and looking at research. I just wondered if that relationship helped them with pro-life based research.
Well, one thing you would know about, or you should know about Dr. Moy, is when he believed something, he put his entire heart and soul into it. He's had numerous times where he's known that something was ethically right and pushed to make sure that it was done that way, to the point where there was a couple times where he actually almost lost his medical licensing because he refused to step down from his stance, knowing that it was correct and not just going with the status quo. So that was a big part of it. Obviously, having all the scientists and medical students at the University of Iowa doesn't hurt.
That's what I figured. Pretty well-known, well-established medical school there. So I figured you'd definitely be able to take advantage of that and vice versa. So you mentioned that there were some organizations, some researchers you were already aware of and reached out to them for funding. If someone, it's like, hey, I'm listening, my daughter is a researcher, I'm a researcher, can they reach out to you specifically and send a proposal like, I'm working on this and I definitely want to continue research, but through the lens of pro-life?
Sure. Yeah, they can reach out to us through our website would be the easiest.
Okay.
We're working on revamping some socials, so I'm not going to pitch any of those right now.
Okay.
Just because I honestly don't even know when the last time anything was posted on them. So go to our website. That's the most up to date. Like I said, it needs to be freshened up a little bit, but you can find all of the information on there about grants, about the best ways to contact us, our phone numbers on there, email addresses, everything like that. I do want to mention one other with the foundation, our newest donation that we just sent out. We were really excited about this. This is the one that we had heard about before, and actually it was Jeannie that heard about them, because I'm going to probably mispronounce his name, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll forgive me. He is a priest. So Father Peter Nwandwi.
Okay.
He's from Eswatini, Swaziland in Africa. So he came several years ago. He came to St. Wenceslas in Iowa City, and he led a group of nursing students back to Eswatini to assist with healthcare. So they have kind of a very rough situation over there. But they have an organization there that helps with both preborn children and after birth situations for the kids, to help give them a safe place to be. They require strict adherence to Catholic teachings. And then they have those assistance centers both in their rural areas as well as their urbans. Okay. So we're really excited about being able to send funds to them as well.
And you had mentioned your website. We will put a link in the show notes so people can click on that and learn more. And then when the website's revamped, they'll want to come back and check it out.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it'll always look better as long as my photo's not on it.
Well, would you be able to share with us how the Institute's work is funded? Obviously, medical research is expensive and research can be time-consuming. So, can you just take us into a little bit of that world?
Yeah, so we have a couple of endowment accounts and different savings accounts that we have saved money over the years into that helps keep funding going. But the majority of it, especially on the foundation side, comes from gifts from different people. We have people that donate from all across the United States. We have a few that donate from overseas as well. So the big thing with it is we want to keep going with this and keep growing and keep getting bigger, but we need everybody else's help. So if we're able to have We try to do announcements and bulletins. We've reached out to several of the dioceses and archdioceses around the United States. We do different talking topics like I'm doing with you guys today. I will be at the Relevant Radio Gala in December in Chicago to talk to them, and we're also working on getting onto EWTN to talk with them as well, just so that way we can help get the word out, because we really need everybody. If you feel that this is something that is a good calling for you, please contact us and we can help you get donations set up to us.
That's wonderful. Those are some great opportunities ahead of you for promoting the work of the Institute.
Absolutely.
So if someone who's listening is interested in supporting the efforts, is it best just to contact you directly, or are there some directions on the website?
There are directions on the website. So when you go to our website, you go to Ways to Help, and then there's Donate Now. And that's where you can go on our website to donate. And we have it set up to where we actually have materials, so we can do like campaigns. So like if you want to do a fundraising event, like if you're a teacher for religious ed or a teacher at a school, we can set up different ways of doing a fundraising event for your classes. So if you're working on something for Advent or for Lent that you want to do a donation drive, we can 100% help you set that up. Or if your organization wants to help donate, we can help you with that as well. So all of that information is right on our website, like you said, under the Ways to Help.
It's wonderful. It reminds me of how so many times in the month of October, youth groups and other organizations are looking for pro-life organizations to support. So I think this is a great opportunity for people to remember another option in the state, even.
Yes. I'm sure you don't have to wait till October.
Yes,
if you don't want to.
I just know that our questions are usually in October. Yeah. No, I'm just saying that, that's usually when we get questions about what, some organizations are to support.
I was thinking the same thing when Brandon was talking. It's like, October. But Lent is good too.
Yes.
Advent's good.
Yep.
Ordinary time, that's solid.
Spoken like a true development person. And we will note that you do have the blessing of the USCCB and the Iowa bishops. So
yes.
we should point that out. So as Catholics, we are all called to recognize the sanctity of human life from conception to natural death in all areas of our life. And the John Paul II Medical Research Institute is operating with the same belief, the same mindset. So we're very grateful to you, Brandon, for joining us all the way from Coralville, a few hours away, to help us understand the work of your organization for the betterment of society. And we're just so appreciative of the work that you do and your partnership with CET for the work that they do as well.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
We're most grateful. And thank you to all of you listening to today's Illuminating Catholics podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and subscribe. New episodes will drop each Tuesday wherever you get your podcast, or you can go to lumenmedia.org. Thank you for listening to this episode of Illuminating Catholics, shedding light to understand the modern church. Follow us for more episodes on topics of the Catholic faith. For more diocesan news, visit lumenmedia.org.